Hey everybody, this is Carlos, your nerd today, for episode 7, 8. It'll be in the title description. Kind of doing this one on the fly for a minute, just because I have some thoughts I wanted to get out of my head. I'm gonna, I guess, attempt to do like a review thing. I'm not anybody like a IGN. I'm not like a GameSpot. Any of those Game Informer or even internet outlets like Game Explain, um, or anything of that nature. Game Explain. I kind of funny. I always mention I'm part of that community. But I wanted to kind of give my review of The Last of Us. A little over a week ago, I was playing it, and I just gave my initial thoughts of the first four chapters. Spoiler free. This will be spoiler heavy. I do have some thoughts that I need to get off my chest and my brain. I have some imagery that I can't shake. Um, so I'm doing this one on the cuff too. There's not really any notes. So I do apologize if I do ramble, but yeah, I beat The Last of Us. So I will notate when I will start spoilers, both vocally, for our audio listeners, and obviously if you're watching the video, there will be there will be a visual cue that says spoilers. Not really. I mean, you'll understand because you can hear me. If you're watching me, you're listening to me. But if you're not watching me, you're listening to me. So I kind of want to get that out. It's dumb. I just went on a ramble. There we go. First one of the video. So yeah, I would say just top level. This game is a masterpiece, man. Probably game of the generation. I'm talking about overall, like Switch, Xbox One, and PS4. In terms of storytelling, gameplay mechanics are tight as well. I mean, you can make arguments for that as well. I'm not saying. To me, it seems like it's the game of the generation. I keep thinking back to God of War, which was probably a crowning achievement for both that series and the PlayStation 4 itself. Um, in reinventing Kratos and giving him some more depth that was lacking in certain senses. But now having this opportunity to have Neil Druckmann and Haley Grossman and the team at Naughty Dog kind of knock it out of the park again. I mean, we have two games this generation from them that have been absolutely stellar. Three, I'm sorry. Yeah, you forgot. I love Lost Legacy. Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, and then now The Last of Us 2. The storytelling is just compelling, and if you have a moment, I would absolutely say please do yourself a favor, play this game. Um, it is a special game. That being said, I'm gonna go spoilers. Um, this is your chance to get out. I appreciate the views. When you play the game, uh, I would love if you would leave a comment. Yeah, comment on the video. Now I disabled comments on the last video for YouTube just because I didn't want anyone spoiling because they were angry. Um, and I only have one thing spoiled so beforehand, so that's not too bad. So we're gonna go full spoilers right now, and the first thing I want to say is Abby is awesome. She's so amazing. She's such a morally great character, and I'm kind of with Mel in a sense that she is a piece of shit. Sorry for the language if you're very sensitive to that. I just wanted to quote Mel specifically in the game. But everyone is, though. Aren't they? Like, everyone's kind of a piece of shit in this world. It's a terrible world to live in. There's a pandemic. And I'm not talking about our real world. I'm talking about one with fungi. And society is broken down. And you kind of have to be a piece of crap to just keep going in this world. And Abby is a piece of crap at so many different levels. I mean, for Mel, watching spoiler casts, I'm still midway through kind of funnies with Laura Bailey specifically about Abby and her portrayal and what filming was like and everything like that. And my idea was that Mel knows what she did with Owen, and she's kind of sick of this. And beforehand, they were all friends, you know? Those wolves, those tight knit wolves, were all friends. They were fireflies together. And Abby just poured herself into training to kill Joel. And she gets a hollow victory in the beginning of the game. Spoilers, Joel dies. So early on, that was not expected. And thank God no one was around when I was playing, because I was blubbering like an idiot. I was crying so hard at just the thought of Ellie having to witness this. And then feeling the rage that she felt. And then who would have thought hours later, playing this game, I would be in love with Abby. And have a distaste for Ellie. Just constantly just shit in the bed in her life. She is constantly just not doing right things, and Abby's not perfect either, and she does something so wrong, so absolutely terrible, but she tries to do right. And because of her interactions with Owen and Mel and Lev and Yara, she finds this light, and it's a beautiful storyline, and a beautiful just idea that Neil Druckmann knew, like he says it, states it in the kind of funny spoiler class, which I'll probably link I'll link all the spoiler class below, because I loved listening to all of them, and I think they're great. But he states specifically, Greg mentions the same thing. I think a lot of us fans of the Metal Gear series would assume, was that you pulled a Raiden on us. And if you remember, or for our young listeners, before Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, there was a demo in the Zone of Enders game that you can play, which was the tanker mission, and all trailers and all just showed Snake. After that tanker mission, you play as Raiden, pardon me, the rest of the game. There's not a moment that you play as Snake. You play alongside Snake, but there's never a moment where you are put back in the shoes of Raiden. And Neil Druckmann, when asked about this, said, "Yeah, Metal Gear Solid is an absolute, like an inspiration for this game, and in that sense that you play as Ellie and then you play as Abby." And I thought something was crazy when you start playing as Abby in the very beginning. I thought there was little things like that, and then to crescendo, like to go all the way to the point where, man, Ellie's about to die, and then fade to black in the Seattle Day 1, and you're Abby, and you meet Alice, who's a dog you just killed. You just murdered this dog, and you don't think about it because you're running for your life and you're trying to protect yourself, and then here it is. You did it, and now you know this dog. You've played with this dog, and it hurts. Some people it doesn't affect as much as others, but I see what Neil Druckmann's doing. I see what Naughty Dog's doing, and I have this emotion now for this dog that hours before I murdered, because it was in my way to get to Abby. And Abby is so flawed, and not unlike Thor in the beginning of Avengers Endgame, when he cuts off the head of Thanos. Like, he's just empty. So what does Thor do, right? He just eats and drinks to oblivion, and then he's starting to get back to normal by the time at the end of Endgame. And this is similar. I mean, Abby kills the man who murdered her father, and hate begets hate begets hate. And then this idea that Neil was right, like, hate is the centerpiece of this game, but is also, and I want to quote my friend Tom Neville here. No one make fun of him. That just, we all got it. We're all adults. He got it a lot in high school. It's ridiculous. Because the last name Harry Potter, we get it. It's don't worry about it. I want to it's a game about PTSD. We both came across that similarly. Abby wakes up multiple times throughout the game screaming Not as loudly as Ellie, or as crazy as Ellie, but she has PTSD over Joel murdering her father. And Joel did what he did to save his light, right? The thing that gave him hope. Ellie, that's how he had a second chance at a daughter, a second chance at living a life, and he does. And listening to Troy Baker in the spoiler cast say his thought, at least to him, was, I became too complacent. That's his last thought. That he got too chilled out living in Jackson, and this is what he gets for giving himself hope. And that would be something, right? That Joel will have, that thought that if he if he just chilled out and he could try to live a life, like, how dare he live a life, right? That would be the last thoughts this man would have. How dare he have a nice life with a daughter and things like that. And they were just starting to mend that beautiful moment at the very end of the game where her last flashback is after the bar fight where the guy calls her a derogatory term, which you think that would be stamped out, right? There's still people who hate. And I mean, you see that with Lev. Being a trans character, played by a trans actor. You would think that stuff will go away, but like, because of the overt spiritual beliefs of the Seraphites, they still hate Lev. Lev was supposed to be a wife. That's terrible. Like a 13-year-old wife. And there's still like terrible things that would happen in society. I mean, we always see like there'll be like hunters, like the Rattlers that we meet at the end of the game, or the WLFs and things like that. But still, we have these like strange religious beliefs that would push, like, or people would twist words from, someone who says, hey, maybe this is a biblical thing. Maybe this is a time for us to do peace and figure out and live off the land and things like that. Not rely on electronics and things like that, because the world and God is telling us that this is bad. I have to restart all of this, that, and then her words are twisted and torn asunder, and it's just war and terribleness and child, like, it's such a throwaway line when Yara says it, and like Abby does react to it, but it is a throwaway line that like Lev was supposed to be a wife. And that was like the last straw for Lev. He's like, I'm not a wife. I'm not gonna detonate him, which is a term I just learned of. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And then they taunt him with his dead name, and they kind of always get in his brain. And he tries to go to his mother, and it doesn't work. She attacks him for being different. It's so relevant to what's going on in society and the world today that people still feel that way. Still, people still have these prejudices and against other people that are not like them, or not quote unquote the norm. It's not fair. It's still not fair, and it shows a lens of that within this game. And all the while, that's a side story, and a beautifully, in my opinion, beautifully told side story. And you also had this history of PTSD and hate, just pure hate. Ellie can't let this go. Abby continually saves her life. She just wants Joel for what he did to her. Ellie could have let that go. Ellie knew that Tommy and Joel did some terrible, terrible stuff. Hell, Tommy tells her not to go in the beginning. And maybe he knows, like, maybe in my head, Tommy knows, like, we did some terrible crap back in the day, and we can't. This is just a cycle. This was bound to happen to us eventually. And she goes. And she has Dina, like, this love of her life, this amazing character. I don't even get the chance to talk about how amazing Dina is, too. She's this light at the end of the tunnel for Ellie. And Ellie goes on this revenge mission, and Tommy gets critically injured, where he's, like, maimed. Jesse, oh, poor Jesse, this dude was amazing. He's gone, Dean is pregnant with his kid, but is in love with Ellie, and everyone's very modern about everything, and everyone's cool on that end. But this dude was about to be a dad. And he gets taken out because his friend needed help, and he was there for her, for both of them. So JJ doesn't have a dad. Dina has Ellie, and then Ellie decides to leave because she can't let go of her hate. She can't let go of it. Abby saved her twice. Abby had a chance to kill her twice. Abby physically is a monster because she wants to hurt. She built her body to hurt and kill. And she doesn't. That's crazy. She doesn't kill Ellie twice. And we get to the end. And Ellie goes through hell again to get to Abby. And Abby is at like the worst part of her life. I mean, she has the hope that fireflies might be there and that she can get to them and have a new life with Lev, who she's now taken under her wing after Yara unfortunately has passed, saving them. There's no Owen, there's no Mel because of Ellie. But that's the thing too, just a random tangent. I think Ellie wouldn't have killed Owen and Mel. I think killing Nora was too much for her. And I honestly believe Owen and Mel attacking her pushed her hand, but still, Ellie killed a pregnant woman, and that messed with her. And Abby didn't. She had a chance. And Lev stepped in and was like, no, that's enough, Abby. And Abby snaps out of it and stops. That's crazy, man. This game is insanely beautiful storytelling and just heartbreaking at every end. And it's hate. And I mean, what's the idea of a happy ending, right? Ellie can never longer play guitar. She's maimed because of her choices. She lost Dina, the love of her life, possibly. There's theories that she has the bracelet at the end of the game, but she doesn't have it when she leaves the house, the farmhouse, like their dream house. Does she still have the PTSD, right? You assume not. Her last thought while she was trying to kill Abby was of Joel that night when they were going to start making up, the day before he died. And it broke her away, so then she let Abby go. So what you have to assume, like what's the time frame for her? Like, does she have still these dreams? I'm sure it doesn't go away. Her father figure died in front of her, but she's lost, right? She lost everything in this pursuit of hate. And similar to Abby, we see her at the tail end of it, right? We see her when she gets her satisfactory, quote-unquote, win, where she kills Joel. It's empty. She got what she wanted. It cost her everything, and it's still empty. And then she builds back up to the light. Maybe that's something not a lot of people aren't paying attention to. You know, Neil showed that she has something at the end. Maybe it's not Dina, maybe it's not JJ, unfortunately, but maybe Ellie could find some hope out there to renew her humanity. But I'm just going on, and I can talk about everything. I mean, gameplay mechanic wise, like it's awesome. It's great, and just head to toe, man. I mean, this game is a masterpiece. It might be my favorite game ever. Last of Us 1 was. I might just loop them together because I feel like they tell one complete story of love and hate. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'm gonna sign off on this one, and I will catch you guys next time on the Nerdy Day podcast. Thank you for being here with me, and don't forget we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to get on Amazon Alexa. We're on Stitcher and YouTube. So if you like to follow, like, share on all those platforms, that would be amazing. Any ratings will do good as well. Just kind of boost me up, and I want to continue to do this. So if you like it, please leave a like, comment. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.